Hello and welcome to what I am pretty sure is episode 148. Um, it's May. Can you believe it's May? It is not only May, it is the 3rd of May, and it is once again Me Made May. And I know that the original concept is totally different from what a lot of us do. Well, I vaguely remember that the concept of Me Made May is a lot different than what most of us do. But to me, Me Made May is just a way to remind myself to actually wear handmaids every day, because I don't. Especially at the moment where it's been, oh god, this sounds like a confession. It's been, what, 40, 50 days since I've been at work. I am working, but I'm working from home. Yeah. So my uniform tends to be comfy, and comfy mostly means a t-shirt, a worn t-shirt, and yoga pants or my rice pigger trousers. That's so not the name for them, but you know. Yeah. Today is no different, except I am wearing a handmade on top and yoga pants on the bottom. Hey, I'm wearing pants, just be glad for that. But yeah, I have been posting. I know it's only been 3 days so far, but I have been posting every day and wearing handmaids every day. But yeah. And I did post just before starting to record this, so you might be seeing this after having seen my post online. Who knows? Let's talk about what we're really here for. Me? No. Let's talk about some knitting and some sewing. Guys, do you know how this has become my new mindless knitting, and yet I haven't really been doing a whole lot? That's not true. Can you even tell the little orange marker down here? That's last week. So I have been doing some knitting, as you can tell. What's slowing me down, other than it being colour work on 3mm needles, is that it's really far around. I'm not a small person. I have some volume to me, so yeah, going all the way around, including my arms, on 3mm needles takes up a lot of yarn. As you can tell, I'm almost done with, I want to say, skein number 2 of the pink. Well, actually, maybe skein number 3. I've lost count. I don't know what day it is. How should I have all of my yarn for this in a bag, so I know where to pick it up, and if there's no more, there's no more. Having said that, this is the Rauma 246R, that's the booklet, and it's the number 2, it's the Genza, but with the raglan from number 1, which is the Yake, I think. It's a cardigan. But yeah, it's a hybrid of the two. The neck will be different. I haven't decided on the neck yet. But as I bought the yarn to make the Gensa, the number 2. And that's with long sleeves, so I do have more yarn that I need. Definitely in the green, and most likely in both of them, but the most noticeable will be the green. So there is that. So I'm not afraid of running out of yarn, so that's why it's not that important to me to keep count of how many skeins I've used. But yeah. My goal for this coming week is to get this up to the neckline and then figure out what neckline I'm going to use. It's a boat neck. The original is a boat neck, but that is also steeped. In the jacket, it's a more rounded neck because it is a cardigan. I don't know. I might knit it up to a boat neck and then just do a bit of ribbing and then close it off so that it'll be an open, more or less, boat neck. I think that might be the easiest, so I don't have to think about shaping the neckline or anything. And I can bring up the back of the neck if I want to, but in a boat neck it's not really that important. It could be an envelope neck. That might be fun. But I've never done one top down. Top down. Bottom up. So I might have to look at Ravelry to see that. What I want. Yeah. I don't know. I am still in love with it, even though it's like, please be done. And even though we're moving into the completely wrong season for this, but when have I ever been sensible? I mean, come on. I still don't know about this yarn. Sometimes I feel it's like, oh, it's pretty soft, and other times it's like, oh, it feels really not scratchy, but rustic. Because it is 100% wool. There are no. It just says Norwegian wool. But I have been told that it softens up when washing. And if not, I'll just wear a t-shirt underneath. I am still considering doing other patterns from the booklet. I don't know why I'm looking to the side. I don't have the booklet here. But yeah, I'm still thinking about making the one that's broken vertical lines. But I think maybe after this I need a bit of a break from color work on small needles. I have a co-worker who started on the Greop jumper, which is also color work, but I think it's on a Sport DK base. It's by Camilla Vell, as far as I remember. It must be, she bought the kit from there. And she started way later than me. And she's already at the underarms. It's also a bottom-up construction. But it's like, yeah, but she's using 4 or 5 millimeter needles, and she's only doing one thing, and she's not sewing and not playing Animal Crossing. Can you hear my excuses for why this isn't done? Plenty of excuses. So many excuses. It'll be so good when it's done. Yeah, I am hoping, as I said, to get this up to the neckline, but it's a fair bit of work. Let's just put a marker in it and settle for, we'll put a red marker in. I use these markers, which are little, okay, focus for you. Which are little light bulbs, and the ones I'm using, the colored ones, are from Cocoa Knits, and they were actually purchased for me by said colleague from Gul. Yeah, I think that's the one. It was at the fair in Middelfart, Fredericia, whatever, Fredericia. Yeah, because the fair in Middelfart is the one that never happened because of, you know, stuff. New marker in. Let's see where we are next week. It is getting easier because, well, as I said, it is my new mindless, so because it is a very intuitive pattern, so I don't think about the progression of the pattern, and you're just going round and round with decreases every other round. The only thing you have to remember is whether it's a decrease round or not, you can tell. So, yeah. My other work in progress has seen more work than it has in a long time. And it's trying to run away. It's my Wool and Honey. And the body's nearly done. The body is nearly done. And I am thinking it'll be short sleeves, something like the top I'm wearing underneath. It is full length, unlike the pattern. I am on the ribbing, and to show you how much knitting I've done on this, see the green marker there? Boom. I still need more than double the amount of ribbing that I've got here. The pattern calls for 5 centimeters of ribbing, which it will get. I was alternating skeins, but one ran out down here and the other is not doing great. But I do have an additional skein of yarn, so I'll just keep knitting with this as far as I can get it, and then I'll just spit splice the other one in. And I can't spit splice it because this is a merino single from Syssel, and it's the color Rusty. It's just so nice to finally see some progress on the things that I've been working on for what seems like forever. Yeah. I now have hope that it will be done this side of the summer. Again, something that I won't really have much use for. I can wear it as a cover up because this is just a single strand and not color work like the other one, and this is on 3.5mm needles, although the ribbing is on 3mm needles. Yay for interchangeable needles, because I have a 3mm needle tip on my working side and a 2.75mm tip on the passive side. I've done 8 rounds of ribbing here, so more is needed. But you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm sure you're just as frustrated with seeing this as I am. And I will say, getting to this point makes me feel so much better after having worked all of it and then discovering it's far too big. Yeah, like I said, it'll be short sleeves because I have this much left of the second to last skein and another 100 gram skein left. It's sitting over there behind us, or behind me, because that's where I left it when I ripped out the first version of this. Will this teach me to do gauge watches? Let's be honest, no. But yeah, the body is nearly done. I wonder if I could get the body done today. I could. I mean, it's just knitting on it. And it is takeaway Sunday, so I'm having Indian. Me and a couple of friends decided we'll all do Indian today. Indian takeaway, so I don't even have to cook. So I could easily finish the body today. But will I? Anyway, I have a new cast on, mainly because this was getting too difficult to manage when doing conference calls. Which I had a couple of this week, which is part of the reason why I've done so much work on this. But I have cast on for something new. I'll just put this down here. And it is 4 centimeters of ribbing so far. It is not as brightly turquoise as the screen is showing, or at least my screen is showing. It is 1x1 rib. 4 centimeters of 1x1 rib on 3.25mm needles. And this is a test knit for Sai Nolan. I know I said I wasn't going to do any more test knits for the foreseeable future. And then I kept seeing her work on what she is now calling the Florence tank, which is, as it says, more or less a tank top, except it is, in my view, it's more of a vest because you do have buttons down the middle. And I fell in love with it and was like, I wonder if she'll release it before summer because it seems like such a good summer knit. And then she called for test knitters, and I wasn't sure, but it's a fairly generous deadline, and well, it's a tank. It's a lace tank, so I figured why not. I am modifying it slightly. My only modification is that I don't plan to ever using the buttons, so instead of making buttonholes, I am just going to make it straight and then sew it shut using the buttons. Because it is, I mean, it is knitting and it has 0 ease, so or a tiny bit of positive ease, I can't remember, but I'll be able to pull it down over my head. It is just straps for the top part, and I am using, this calls for, she used 2 strands of pure silk from Knitting for Olive held together, and I'm using stash yarn. This was bought to make a Carnot knitted summer top years and years ago. I think it's pretty sure it's Cardinal. I saved the tag inside, and the tag doesn't say anything. It's just a piece of cardboard. I am pretty sure it's the Cardinal silk or pure silk. It is a pure silk yarn, from what I remember. I really should. And it has the same it's the same weight as the Knitting for Olive pure silk. It's been in my stash forever. The project I bought it for I did start on, which is why they were already wound. And actually I haven't ripped all of it, but yeah, it's I put it in my projects already. It's the Florence tank. I am using Carnot Design Japonica silk, so Japanese silk, in the Capri Blue colorway. Again, not as vibrantly turquoise as it's showing up on my screen. It's a more muted and with more hints of green. So think of that really nice water at a Caribbean island. That's what I'm picturing. Anyway, and I bought it in 2014, so that's 6 years ago. I should have more than enough yarn for this, and I think if we get a warm summer, the silk will be really nice on the skin. And it's just, I can show you, since I'm already on Ravelry, I can show you a photo of the finished. Just talk amongst yourselves. Dum, dum. Can we get it in a? Okay, I don't know how, if you can really tell, but this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's all over lace. You don't need the buttons to get into it, so that's why I'm thinking, well, not thinking, I have decided that I'm not going to do the buttons. The buttons, not doing the buttons, is straying from the pattern, and not, but it is not straying from the actual testing requirements, because buttons and no buttons really doesn't make a difference to seeing if the pattern actually makes sense. I don't know if it's easy. So yeah, it's lace on every row, and although I did consider for a moment to order the Knitting for Olive pure silk, because it did look really nice in that neutral colorway. Someone else on Instagram is doing a off-whitish beige color as well, but I am paler than pale. I only have 3 colors: paler than pale, blue, because you can see through my paler than pale skin, and red when the sun hits me. If I wear an off-white or beigey color, I'll be off-white or beigey with pale. This is going to look so much nicer on my skin for summer. Plus it's using stash yarn. And that's not even taking into account that it's stash in like 3 weeks. 2 and a bit weeks. 18 days. No, not 18 days. Doesn't it start on a Friday usually? So less than 3 weeks. Let's just put it that way. And if you don't know about Stash Dash, I say every year I'm not going to do it, and then I'm like, well, I am finishing things. Let's go for Team Crazy Pants and go for the highest tier, which is 15,000 meters. And then I either miss it by just the tiniest bit or fail completely. We should see this year. Again, I don't plan on doing it, but again, it is in a couple of weeks, and I mean, it's not cheating if I leave out 1 or 2 rounds before the bind off on some projects that are pretty yardage heavy or meterage heavy. But yeah. Testnet Florence topped by Sayonara. I can imagine she'll be aiming to release this by the middle of June, I think. Sorry. Sorry. Ugh. By the way, iced tea with mango. It's a Nestea offering, and I got a sample size bottle for free at the shop. It's not as sweet as the peach iced tea, so pretty good. Sorry, just a tangent. But yeah, test knitting because apparently I can't stay away. Now, that's all the knitting I've been doing, and I've been doing a bit of sewing. Now, don't get used to me showing you a new top every week. I know it's the second week now doing it, I think. Pretty sure. But I have a new finished object. I actually have 3. 2 of them are a bit of a cheat, but well, so is this. This is the Vixen Shift top. Showed you last week. And it's done now. It is slightly cropped, but with the relaxed look, I actually like it. I have done this. Now the Vixen Shift, Vixen is the company, Shift is their pattern. It comes in a top, it comes in a tunic, and it comes in a dress. All in one pattern. There is the sleeve option for 3/4 length sleeves. Might I add, this is where the sleeve starts. So I'm not sure if I did another one that I'd actually add the sleeves, because I mean, I could just roll up this hem and stitch it down instead of stitching it to the sleeve, and it'll still be a fairly sizable or lengthy cap sleeve. It's not even a cap sleeve, it is a proper sleeve. I mean, it is above my elbow, yes, but it is a proper sleeve. My elbow is here. So what I'm saying is, I won't be bothering with these tiny sleeve next time. This is a Nani Iro Japanese fabric, bought from, oh, that's my work phone. Don't know if you heard the buzzing. It's a Nani-Iro, and the fabric actually goes this way with lots of confetti in the middle and then tapering out towards the edge, and barely any on the none actually on the outer part of the edge. Saw this, as I said last week, saw the post by Meter Meter. They did the same thing. This is an exact copycat, except I don't remember how they did the sleeves. Oh, this is a thread. But yeah. Nice, very simple, and very comfy because it is a nice cotton. The only difference I made is that I'm not sure that I used the right measurements for the bottom of the sleeve and the hem. I'm pretty sure I did my own thing there. Basically I just rolled it up twice and stitched it down. I did instead of facings, because I always feel like they want to pop out, and yeah, I just did a bit of bias tape, made it myself. Did a bit of hand sewing, because apparently after doing so many sew over it patterns, I am now used to having to do a bit of hand sewing on every project. Yeah. Didn't do pockets on it. It is supposed to have pockets, like little pockets that you could just stick your hands into, like tiny ones. I like the flow of this, and I'm not sure, a top with a pocket just seems a bit odd. And it is a patch pocket. I'd understand if it was a breast pocket, like the Cali shirt by Closet Case Patterns. That I can understand. But just randomly on your stomach? Yeah. Anyway. I bought 2 meters of this because that's what the pattern says you need. But I did it on the other, across the grain. So I also had enough to do another Ascot tie belt by In the Fabric. And this is by Stylarg. And even though I didn't make this to use with the t-shirt or the top, it is, I mean, it does work with it, if that's the look you're going for on the day. But I did make it to use up more of the fabric, and B, because I thought this would be a nice pop of color to a dress, for example. I have a fair few dresses that are loose flowing. There is interfacing in this, so it does stand up to being used as a belt. It wouldn't if I didn't, because it's very soft material, so it would just crumple, and the pattern tells you to do it. So. And then I purchased some fabric that you haven't seen. I'm fairly sure it arrived this week. It did. It arrived on Monday. And it looks like this. It is a dead stock fabric from Meter Meter. I have looked at it before, and then it was sold out. And dead stock means that it's a designer fabric that it's the dead stock. There is no more to be made when this is gone. Somehow she found another bolt of it, and yeah, so I purchased 2.5 meters because I wanted to make an Anderson blouse, and this isn't as it's only 130 centimeters wide, so you need the extra length, because the Anderson blouse, which is a sew over it pattern, it has this is one of the front pieces. It is let's see. This is the top. So you gather this piece, and this is a facing. So even though you only get one side, you have a lot of fabric. So if you're using a 150 centimeter wide fabric, even on the larger sizes, this is a size 20, you can just do it on the fold. If you don't have 150 centimeters, it'll be too narrow to do on fold, and you'll have to do it single, but you won't be able to have them be next to each other, so there'll be a bit of a shift, and so 2 meters won't be enough. It might just be enough. I played it safe and got 2.5 meters. Now, with my other Anderson blouse, which I showed you last week, I made a belt. That's where this whole belt obsession started. So I made a belt again. I started out making the belt because I can do this in my sleep. I used every bit of fabric, which also means that there wasn't enough for a belt, but I had 2 pieces of fabric left over from these 2 meters. So that's a top, a belt, and 2 front pieces for a different belt. And I was able to make a belt out of it. Now, this fabric it's gorgeous, first of all. I mean, just look at it. It is the flowers are more green than they're showing up. But the flowers are actually puffy fabric. So, and the reverse is the puffy fabric with the flowers in black. And let me just tell you, this sheds. It's not like a normal fabric where you just have like the strands coming off. I mean, it's fluff everywhere. After only doing this belt, I have had to use a lint roller on my ironing board twice. And to be honest, it looks like you could use it again, but so this has been put aside so it could think about what it's done and if it's going to behave before I tackle making the Anderson blouse, which let's be honest, will happen this week. But still, naughty. Naughty fabric. It's a heavier fabric than the one I used for my previous one. So this feels more autumnal. Somehow it feels more business-like. I don't know. That's just the mental image I get. But even so, it'll be so nice and drapey and gorgeous when it's done. But yeah, it is a heavier fabric because it is essentially two pieces of fabric woven together. I really feel like I should be sewing on this. Yeah. Anyway, that is all for this week. Yeah, I am thinking that I'm getting excited about getting finished with some stuff. I'm actually excited to sew this, even though it is naughty and should think about what it's done. It's spring, it's May, the sun is out. I'm feeling positive. Anyway, let's say that's it for this week, and I'll have some lunch and upload this. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.